How did economic factors lead to slavery? Imagine a world where growing crops could make someone incredibly rich, but only if they had enough workers to do the hard labor. That's exactly what happened in early America. As Europeans started colonies in the New World, they wanted to grow crops like sugar, tobacco, and cotton to sell in Europe. These crops were very profitable but needed a lot of work to produce. At first, Europeans tried to enslave the indigenous peoples living in the Americas, but many of these people died from European diseases or escaped into the wilderness. Also, forcing Native Americans to work was often too difficult and expensive. So, colonists looked for another solution. They needed a cheap, steady source of labor that wouldn't die off or run away. That's when the transatlantic slave trade became a key part of the economy. Europeans began forcibly bringing millions of Africans across the Atlantic Ocean to work on plantations. These enslaved Africans were sold to plantation owners who needed large numbers of workers to grow and harvest crops. This system allowed farmers to produce more crops at a lower cost, making their products cheaper and more competitive in European markets. The triangular trade was the backbone of this economy. European ships carried goods like guns, cloth, and alcohol to Africa. In Africa, these goods were traded for enslaved people. The ships then crossed the Atlantic, carrying enslaved Africans to the Americas. Once there, they were sold to plantation owners. The ships then returned to Europe loaded with crops like sugar, tobacco, and cotton. This cycle made a lot of money for merchants, investors, and plantation owners. In the United States, especially after the invention of the cotton gin in 1793, cotton plantations expanded rapidly. Enslaved Africans became the main workforce for cotton, which was in high demand worldwide. The growth of cotton helped fuel industries in Britain and the northern United States, creating a global economy that depended heavily on slavery. European merchants and industrialists also benefited from this system. They made money not just from selling plantation products but also from insuring and financing slave voyages and supplying goods to enslaved people. This economic setup kept slavery going for many years because it was so profitable. For Black Americans, understanding these economic reasons helps explain how slavery was built on greed and the need for cheap labor. It also shows how enslaved Africans and their descendants fought against this system for freedom and justice. Recognizing these roots helps us see the resilience and contributions of Black Americans throughout history.